Good evening, everyone. In this world of immense innovations, where technology keeps pushing us towards the horizons of changes, we, the interns of IEEE Kerala Section, brings you the ultimate platform to channel your thoughts, color your space, talk without limits. I am Veena R from Interns team, and I'll be the MC for this session. For this session, I wholeheartedly welcome Rohith Joseph Mathew, Product Support Analyst, Refyne India, to talk about how to pick right business idea. If any of you have any doubts, please feel free to put it up in the live YouTube chat. We shall answer it at the end of the session. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Veena. I hope I'm audible and clear.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Once again, thank you for that introduction. So just like all the other members and the host, I was also an IEEE member. I'm still an IEEE member, and I completed my graduation from Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Kochi in 2021, where I did my bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering. And now I am working as a product support analyst at Refyne India. The topic of my talk is how to choose a right business idea. But I would like to take you guys through, few mistakes that I did, few mistakes that I saw my friends doing, and few tips and tricks my mentors told me. So I hope this would definitely help you in your journey towards building, being an entrepreneur. So, guys, at some point of time of our life, we all have, thought about this idea about having our own company, being an entrepreneur, because, the fact is, it is, a lot of attention is there towards startups, entrepreneurs, it's something different from the path, but only a very few, number of people actually make it to the top, right? Some people actually come up with brilliant ideas, solve brilliant problems, but then at some point they never make it to the top, or they don't seem to grow rapidly. So I just want you guys to take you through a few things that you could put in mind that while starting having your own startup. So I'll just share my screen. Sorry guys, just a second. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. So, first thing is to know what is the difference between a startup and a business. Now, this is something that many people get it wrong. Okay, so I have friends coming up and saying, hey, I'm starting a restaurant startup. But, essentially, there's a difference between a startup and a business. Now, a business is something that does not involve tech, and startup is something that involves tech. Now, if you take the word tech out of it, the startup is gone. It's nothing. But at the same time, if you take a tech out of a business, the business will still thrive. The business will still move. I can give an example. Now, take a restaurant. Okay, now you can add QR based menu card. You can add such tech stuff into a restaurant, but it will still run even if the tech is removed out, right? There'll be still customers coming in, ordering food, and still the business will still thrive. But if you take tech out of a startup, it's done, it's gone. If you take tech out of Facebook, it's done. You take tech out of WhatsApp, Instagram, anything, any such growing companies, it's gone forever. So essentially there's a difference between startup and business, and there's nothing wrong in doing a conventional business, because at the end of the day you are making money. And there's another big difference. You can scale startup endlessly. Now that is another very important major aspect of startup. Now, a business is not something that you can grow endlessly or you can scale endlessly, but startup is something that you can scale endlessly. And that is one thing that investors look in, people who are interested in spending money into your startup is looking at. So now that you know what is the difference between a startup and a conventional business, it's very important that you take a right problem statement. Okay, so what makes a problem statement good? The good problems are popular problems. Okay, so I like to put it in a different way. The good problems are ones that are affected by a lot of people. Now, I had friends who created solutions for problems that actually affected a very small vertical of people, or a very small community. The idea might be good, the problem might be really good, but then the the society or the sector is catering is very small. The vertical is catering is very small. At one point, he would not be able to grow his idea, or he will not be able to scale his idea. So choose problems that are popular. Good problems are growing. Now, this is some aspect that investors look into. Now, you want the problem to be growing 20x, 30x every year. Each year passes by, more people are affected by the problem. Your problem is growing. It at some point of time it needs a solution. So good problems are growing. Good problems are mandatory. Now, this means now you're faced by a problem that needs to be solved right at that moment. It needs to be solved as soon as possible. So that is one good aspect of a good problem. So ideally you will not have all these coming into your problem. Now, essentially what you want is at least one of these points should be able to be matched to your problem. If you have one or more, it's awesome. But at least try to match one quality to your problem. It could be urgent, it could be mandatory, it could be growing, it could be popular. But at least try getting one tag into your problem. Now that we know your problem, it's one thing that many people get wrong. Now, one point that I believe is that successful businesses are built on deep customer insights. Now, if you don't know your customer, if you don't know their pain points, you're never going to develop an idea that is actually your users going to use. You might have ticked all those of a good problem, but if you don't come up with an idea that actually solves the customer's problem, it's actually essentially going down the drain. So the first step is to know your customer, right? Know what are their pain points, know what are they facing. Now, if you see many companies come up with credit cards, loyalty cards, do you realize why do they do that? Now, that is one way to know how is your customer shopping. Know the shopping habits, know their purchase programs for their users. Now, usually these come with banks. Now, you see banks coming up with offers, especially for people who love movies. Now, they give an offer of 2 free movies a month. So those are built on customer insights, strong knowledge about the customer, and they create plans specifically for them, right? So it's very important you know your customer. Do not focus on your goals. Now, trust me, this might sound a lot counterintuitive, okay? I know, because all my life I've heard, focus on your goals, focus on your goals. But I have a different take to it. Okay, so I'll put this in an example again. I was in class 7 when I had this crush towards a girl who was in my church. She was in class 6, okay? And I just wanted to be with her. I wanted to hang around with her. I wanted to talk to her. Okay. But I was very scared. Okay. I'm pretty sure people hearing this can relate to me. A lot of people. Okay. So I was not the bold one who walks by and just talks to any girl. I was very shy. Okay. I was very shy. I was very scared. Okay. So one day I gathered all my courage. It just came like that. Okay. I just gathered all my courage and told my friend, just go tell her I want to be with her. I just want to hang around with her. Okay. He went, my friend went. Going to. Okay. So then, that incident went by, a lot of years passed by. And now looking back, what was the mistake I did? I focused a lot on my goal. Okay, my goal was I wanted to be around with her. I wanted to talk with her. Now that is my goal. But while focusing on my goal, I forgot about things that I could change. Okay, so what essentially was wrong with me? Now, I was scared to talk. Okay, now that was something that I forgot to build. I was very focused on my goals that I forgot to change things that were in my hand. Okay, so let me put it in a different example. Many of us, plan to score marks. This semester exam, I'm going to score 5A plus, 4A plus, 4 O's, 2 O's, whatever it is. But at the end, you most of the time not achieve what you actually plan for, right? Now, one major reason for that is we all focus on our goals and we forget the process. Now, what are the process? The process are things that are within our hands. Now, learning for an exam, sitting in, going through multiple questions is something in our hands. But grading the paper is up to the teacher who is evaluating the paper, right? So most of the time, we people focus on goals then rather than focusing on the process. So that same applies for your startup or whatever idea you're pursuing. We plan about going for an IPO, raising this so and so amount, raising money for Kerala Startup Mission. So I did this mistake when I was in my first year. So I was working on this idea all day long, and I forgot focusing on smaller steps that I actually could have made an impact. Now, if you are starting a company, you can set goals out, setting a good team, setting a good company culture, setting up processes, setting up frameworks on certain things. And those are actually things that would eventually help you to scale your company forward and actually make your company, put it on a 10x growth. So focus on the process, fall in love with the process than in the goals, and things would eventually fall in place. Okay, so this is another point I wanted to come across. An attempt is valued more than the explanation of the concept. Now, many times, people come across to me and say, "Hey, Rohith, I have this brilliant startup idea that I want to pursue." Okay, so just can you help me? That's the question that comes up to me. So, people are not interested to help people who have not done anything, who have not worked towards it. See, my time is valuable, your time is valuable, and time is something that's very valuable to all. So if you can make an attempt before asking for help, now that could be anything. If you're you are an ML enthusiast or AML enthusiast, and you can go across a mentor and say, "Hey, what, I have done so and so work, this is my project, but I'm kind of stuck here, could you help me?" So this is the right kind of attitude that you want to build. That's how you gain mentors. That is how you get people to help you. So no one wants to help someone or be along with, or sit and work with a person who has absolutely nothing for that idea or the thing that he wants to do, right? So an attempt is valued more than the explanation of the concept. Build your audience first and then the product. So, this is another very important aspect that I wanted to cover. Now, many times people think that, hey, look, I'll build this product, I'll run some marketing campaigns, and, people are just going to flow and, buy my idea, buy this thing, you subscribe to it, money is going to flow. Okay, it might be true to an extent. Okay, but not always. So building your audience and then the product is an absolutely brilliant strategy to go forward. Now, imagine, and let me put it out. Imagine you're starting a new food delivery app within the city of Kochi. Okay, so you can run marketing campaigns, right? Just create a good landing page. Run ads on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform is it. Get people to come on your landing page and see what kind of people or how are people engaging with your product. List out the few features of your product, okay, and what makes this product different from the others. And people who are truly interested in engaging with your product or buying your product would definitely subscribe to it. You can have a link at the bottom saying that, hey, if you're interested, if you want to become one of the first users of the product, you can definitely put in your name and you would be the first one to know about it, right? So these are few ways, you can there's a lot of analytics that goes behind running these ads. You can have how many people click this, how many people, what's the time that each person engages in your ad. So there's a ton of analytics that go behind. So these analytics would actually help you to validate your idea even before you build your product. So if people are not engaging with your product, if they're not finding it interesting, then there's something wrong in your product, right? So it could be your idea, it could be there's nothing that is getting the users to find it interesting. So it gives you an instant feedback. So rather than spending lakhs on a product and then doing a marketing campaign and then seeing that the users are not interested or it doesn't have enough customer circle, it's better to run a campaign, see how people are engaging, build an audience, and then the product. It should eventually help you. And then once the product is ready, you have an audience, maybe 22,000 or 1,000 or people who are eagerly waiting to engage with your product, right? So this has been brilliantly done by a company called Fee Money. So I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it. So even before they launched their product, they had marketing campaigns running. They aggressively did market their marketing campaigns. They had ads all across Instagram, Facebook, and people were so intrigued that they went across, saw what are their different specialties, what put them different from the other neobanks in India, and then they started engaging, and that's how they knew, okay, guys, even if we have a product, people are going to come across and use it. So it's very important you build your audience first and then the product, and this is going to help massively for people at my age or people who do not have much funds to actually go ahead and pursue that idea. You can probably start this creating a good landing page won't cost much, hosting it won't cost much, and running ads, run for a few days, few months, and see how are people going. And you can always use this data, the data from the marketing campaigns, to actually go and pursue it. Investors, people who gives up idea funds, right? We have Kerala Startup Mission. So these are solid data that you can bank upon your idea. Okay, now this is another very important aspect. Does it energize you? Now, remember those days, when you first dated a boy or you first dated a girl, or for sake you were in a crush with a girl and you had a call with her. Like 2 hours or 3 hours calling on the phone just flew by, right? You can sit endlessly talking with her. And you would still feel refreshed. Now, for me, I love designing. I can sit hours and hours designing and still feel very excited about things, right? I love going for hackathons. Now, hackathons is a good place to actually test your skills out. Now, you have 24-hour long hackathons, 48-hour long hackathons, and still, you don't feel tired after doing all those things. That's because it's energizing. You're very passionate about that idea. Now, it's very important to know if you are passionate about your idea you're working, or are you passionate about the whole concept of starting something on your own? Very interestingly, I read an article recently. It says that 75% of the CEOs, top CEOs globally, are at high risk of being psychopaths. Now, that's something that actually caught me very interesting, because it probably for some reason. But founders are essentially psychopaths, because the society pushes us, frames us to first go a job, get a salary hike, grow in the job, buy a car, get married, have kids, and then it's a cycle that just continues. So the people who are true psychopaths would actually go out of that process, start something of their own, and try to change the society, right? So founders are essentially psychopaths. They're crazy about the idea. They're crazy about things. They don't give a shit about what's happening around, right? So it's very important that the idea energizes you. You are in love with the idea, because at one point of time, startups would be very frustrating. Things might not be going your way. So if you cannot stick it through, it all goes away, right? All your hard work, all your passion, all the time, the money you spend for it just goes away. Now, this is very important. Okay, does it change you? Now, imagine going for the Dandi March again. So you are Mahatma Gandhi, and the first thing that you comes across your mind while talking about Mahatma Gandhi is non-violence. Now, Mahatma Gandhi is known for all his, marches, how he takes things at a very peaceful and calmful way. Okay, so imagine you're going for Dandi March. You're going very peacefully. You finish the protest. Okay, things are going good along this, and then you're coming back, and then there's Lathi charge. Okay, and your mother dies, your son dies, a couple of your other family members dies. Okay, and imagine what would people ask Gandhiji? We went for a freaking Dandi March and I got my son killed, I got my father killed, I got a couple of my relatives killed. Okay, imagine the kind of pressure Gandhi would be going, right? So it's very important that you stick to your values despite about what happens around. See, now the same thing holds true for entrepreneurship too, because at times things wouldn't go how we want or the way we want. But if you keep changing, if your values and principles keep changing, it's going to affect the way how your startup would go forward, right? So it's very essential that you stick towards your goals, you stick towards your values, and there's something called people culture. Okay, so that is something that needs to be resonated within your organization. But the moment you change your principles, you change your values, when things go differently, it is going to reflect all across your organization. So if not a big organization, still if you're working in a small team, say a small team of 3 or 4 members, if you keep changing, the members along with you is also going to feel disheartened, right? So it's very important that you stick to your values and principles despite about what happens around you. Okay. So this is another thing. Does it bring a positive feedback? Okay. Now, imagine you go tell someone your idea, and he doesn't seem interested in your idea. Okay, you go to someone else, you talk. Okay, he doesn't seem, he's like, hey, dude, I have some other thing to do. I'm not interested to hear. Okay, so that's called negative feedback. Now that could be for XYZ reasons. That person could be busy, or could be caught up with something else. When you talk to your potential users, and when you don't get a positive feedback, when someone tells, hey dude, this idea sounds good, this could solve a problem that I'm facing, or this idea could solve so and so problem that I was trying, that has been affecting my life, you're trying to solve it. It's really good. I would love to be a part, or buy this certain thing when it is actually out. So check if there's a positive feedback coming into the loop. Now this is something that's very rewarding. Now in the word rewarding itself is very counterintuitive. I don't mean money, but I mean reward in the sense of time. Now if someone comes and tells you, hey dude, your idea is good, and they engage 5 minutes in your idea, means there's a positive feedback. And what is more valuable than someone coming and giving you 5 minutes of their life hearing your idea, right? So check if there is always a positive feedback coming into the loop while you talk in your idea, and whatever you talk about the startup. Now, I cannot stress more on this. Start it now. Now, this is something that, I tell all my friends, juniors in my college, because at this point of time, you have absolutely nothing to lose, right? You all the responsibility, the only responsibility you would probably have now is learn, score pretty good marks, or, get through your course. But other than that, you have no such responsibilities. No one is expecting from you to earn money, they look at a living, or probably you would not have a family to look after, you wouldn't have mouths to feed. So this is the best time to start. Now it could be something very simple, uh, something very small, but because you never know, if that idea is going to take up or move forward. It could be in a very small copycat idea. Now I was having a chat with one of my juniors in my college. So he said that he's very interested to get into product management. He wants to be a product manager one day. So I was telling, hey dude, what have you done? Like, because product management is something it's a very competitive field, and there's a ton of people who are actually moving into product management, and it's very important you have a good profile. So I said, hey dude, just start something, maybe start an app that actually gets to know people, each other. So we have right now the students in the first year and second year, or students in the first year are not talk with the other students in the college. So try building an idea, make an app that could actually get people to talk, understand each other, more like a create friendship across the app. So it's more like a modern version of a Tinder in college. Okay, so now these are small ideas that can be worked in college. Now, not necessarily you can have an app that that collects all data or collects notes from your class, pushes important updates from your teacher to the students. So it could be something very small, but at the same time you're learning how to do it, right? So this learning is something that's very important. It might take off. Okay, if it takes off, really good. You can monetize it. You can make money out of it. And even if it doesn't take off, even if it doesn't make it, to the big stage, it is actually fine, because at that point of time, no one is expecting you to become a billionaire, go out for an IPO or raise funds. You're a student, and it's time for you to learn new things, try new things, experiment with certain things. So even if it doesn't go well, you know how to run a product, you know how to talk with developers, you know how to talk with tech people. So those are eventually going to contribute to you. If you go for your next startup, where have you done a mistake, what are the things that you didn't do well, and you can convert it to something better the next time you pursue entrepreneurship. And even if not entrepreneurship, if you're going to become an APM, or you can become a product analyst, so whatever it is, it's going to always help. It's not going to be a waste of time. So start something now, and given the situation we are in now, we have time in hand. Okay, it's not like you have to spend 8 hours of your time in class and then come back, uh, uh, sit and work on your lab assignments. Not that we're more relaxed academically, we are more relaxed now, so we have time in hand. And if you can use this time very wisely, if you can if you can spend this time to actually make something, do something, it is going to eventually help you build something good and actually make a change. So start it now, because this time, if it's gone, once it's gone forever. Now I slightly regret for not actually using my time very well. Okay, I did few things, I could learn a lot, but looking back now, I think I could have done it much better. So guys, make use of this time, try to build things. And I'm not referring only to apps or software based, coding based things. It could be even hardware. Now build things or small things or problems that are faced by people. Now one of my projects in my second year was to bring in a coconut dehusking machine. So it could be, you guys know that is an already existing idea. See how can you redefine, how can you modify existing ideas. Try working on such things, because that are few things that would eventually help you to move. And that's it from me, guys. So I hope you all had you had few things to take away from this my presentation, because looking back, I'm not a seasoned entrepreneur, but for sure I have made certain mistakes that I was able to learn a lot from. So I hope I could share some light into your venture or things you are going to go forward. So thank you so much, IEEE and IQ's interns for this.
It was a really nice talk, Rohit. We do have some questions in the chat.
Sure.
I'll read it to you. How do you think we can gain trust of the first few clients? They would prefer companies that have done many number of projects so far. So how do you overcome this?
Now, that's a very good idea. Okay, so that's when I mentioned my point: building your audience first and then your product. Now, I'm not sure if uh, you're referring to a services-based company. Now, if okay, I'm presuming your question is to services-based companies who are providing services, right? So, am I right, Veena?
Yes.
Okay, so getting your first few customers is always hard. Be it anywhere, whatever you do, getting your first customer is always hard. So it's very important that you start a very small hustles, get the trust of small people, and trust is something that spreads across people. And the most contagious one is spread the word of mouth, right? So let's start with small projects, small clients, and once you have a portfolio, you have a work, your set of work you have done, getting your next customer would be eventually easier.
Okay, Rohit. The next question is how to be continuously inspired.
Now that's a hard question, to be honest, because at some point of time you know uh, you would have tough days. Now I had my tough days. I had a very bad patch of time when I was unaware about what to do, how to go about things. So staying continuously inspired is definitely hard. I would be honest about that. But finding out the positives out of a situation is something that can actually help you. Okay, now this is something I do when things go wrong. This is something that I believe upon. When things go wrong, uh, there's a lot you can learn out of it. Even when it comes to your startup, when your startup fails, okay, I have two options. I can ponder upon it. I can sit and like, hey dude, my startup failed, I'm shutting this down. And then there's another angle you can look at things. Look what can be gained out of it. What have I done wrong in it? What can I learn from it? What are the mistakes that I can do differently when I start my next company? So, and I think this is applicable to all situations, all negative or all bad situations we think we fall into. There is always something to learn. Look at the positive side. Just like how a coin is, you have two sides to it, and every problem that we face in life has two problems. And one thing that I do, and that is actually helps me, is I think I try thinking, is this problem going to affect me in the next 5 years? Or is it going to be, is this problem going to be along with me for the next 10 years? If yes, okay, you need to find a good solution for it. And if it doesn't, there's no point in wasting a lot of time thinking about it. And sitting and pondering about a problem will actually enlarge the problem, or is going to make you feel worse. Especially me, I am someone who overthinks problems. So if you are an overthinker like me, the more this time you spend on thinking about a problem is going to get worse. So think positive aspects to it. Talk to people along with you, your friends, family. Tell them what your problems, and those are eventually going to help you.
Okay, Rohit. The next question is how to overcome existing competition.
Now, existing combination. This is something that very personal to me. Okay, there's no point in doing a copycat idea or doing a copycat business model. Doing something the exact same way someone is doing. Okay, it might work in a different country. Now we have ideas that were built in US that came across to India, and it did really well. So try giving the user, the customer, something different. Now that could be in terms of your product, the products that you give, could be in terms of offers. Now you need a competitive advantage over your competitor. Now these are few aspects you can always focus upon, bringing in value that your competitor doesn't. Look at what are certain pain points this competitor is not solving. What are certain features, what are certain abilities that you can provide that your competitor doesn't, and then eventually build your product accordingly. Talk to potential users, talk to them and understand, hey dude, I'm planning to start something like this. What are few things you would like to see on this? Or, what would few things that you would like to have on my product? Build something that gives more value to the user than your competitor, and eventually you would have people using your app or product.
Next question, how can I market my business?
Okay, now it depends. Okay, I'm not sure about what idea or what is that mentioned, Preena?
No, it's a generic question.
Okay, so marketing your idea could be in different ways. It boils down to what product you're using. Okay, now I'm presuming that your idea is an app. Okay, so app is that was something that I mentioned earlier. Now this is a process that can be done while you build your audience. You can run ads. Now ads is something that doesn't come at a very high cost, or something that's very affordable, and you can run campaigns, get people to engage with your post, get people with seeing your campaigns, get people to come onto your app, get downloads. Now marketing campaigns, running ads on social media is a very good tool. It's a very good strategy that is taken up by many people. And then if there's several other things. Now you can have referral bonus. Now that's another method of getting people. You can have people to refer your app, and you can provide them with certain referrals, which would help you bring more traction into that app, get more people to use your app. Now that's something Google Pay has done brilliantly. So if you guys remember the year when Google Pay came, people are eventually people are a bit hesitant in the beginning, but eventually people started picking it. There are people, they just flooded the market with referral bonus. They had 100 rupees, 100 or 200 rupees, I forgot how much was it. So they got a lot of people into it. Now that this is the case when you have a lot of money in hand. If you do not have money, you cannot afford to give a referral bonus to a lot of people. And the most obvious method to get people is by this word of mouth. Now, this is something that takes time. You need to build a trust with your users, build a good customer base, get people using your product more and more, and that's when people start talking about your product. Hey dude, I use this product, and it's given me so and so value, and you must also try it. So that's one method of getting people.
Moving on to our last question, how to find the right funding for starting a business?
So people fund businesses that grow. Okay, now you don't want to fund, or I don't want to fund a startup that would not grow much, or if I feel that this problem is only faced by a very small amount of people, I don't think he would be able to scale this idea. So this is another point that I would like to bring. Startups fail not because their idea was good, or not because their problem was good, because their implementation was wrong. But this is one aspect you all can take note of. People who go for fundings, or funding, the people who come across these fundings, actually take a look at how your founders are. Are they capable of pulling this thing off? Your idea might be slightly off, or they might be not that impressed, but if the founders seem very very positive, and if they feel that they can actually pull off this idea and actually make it big, your idea is going to gather some amount of funds. So it's very important you present yourself as someone that is capable of pulling that idea, and having our idea backed by solid data is something that would actually help. This is something that I have seen missing in many pitches that I've gone. Many people coming across competitions, business glitches, who they lack solid data. They come across and say, hey dude, we have a count of 70% people who might engage with the product. Now 70%, what backing do you have for the data? So if you have solid data for your product, if you can say that, okay, this percentage of people have engaged with the social media post, have engaged with the social media ads, and we have 200 or 500 odd people who have already registered to use the platform, is solid data. Now, if you're working on a product, or maybe on a food item, now I had friends who had worked on a biscuit, and they came for funding with solid data from agencies. They already had sales. I think they had sold around 5,000 odd packets already before going for funding. So start something. Just don't go with an idea. Just don't walk with an idea and say, hey dude, I have an idea. I think this is brilliant and you need to give me money for it. It's very hard until and unless you are Kunal Shah or Jeff Bezos. Okay. It's very hard to get that funding for an idea. But if you can work on it, or if you can actually show them something, hey dude, this is something I've worked and this is my MVP and I would like to take it forward. I have so and so backing. These are few data that I've collected from the users, data I collected from so and so places. Those will actually eventually help you get fundings.
Actually, we have two more questions.
Sure.
Beginning a startup in a competition product, what all ideas can be done in order to attract the society?
Now, I'm sorry, I would not be able to give you a good answer because I'm not sure about what product are you working on. But, from my understanding, is this question in this way? So what are a few things that can be done on an idea that already has a lot of competition, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just as I mentioned earlier, try giving the users a different set of values. Give them more things that your competitors are not giving the existing users. Maybe in terms of products, in terms of offers, in terms of value. So those are few things that you can always focus upon, and I think those stay true for almost anything you do, be it a B2B or B2C idea. Try giving the end users different values, more values than what your competitors are already giving. But if I could know your idea more well, I could have given you more points. But yeah, I think this stays true for almost every product or idea.
Okay, Rohit. So, our final question. What are some methods to build our audience?
Now, building an audience is, just as I mentioned earlier, running marketing campaigns is one good thing. So, create a very basic landing page, have all your product benefits mentioned, what would be the expected cost. Okay, if even if you cannot add the cost, it's still fine. But if you can add the features, what are its abilities, what so and so people would be benefited, make a landing page, add some graphics, make it look nice, and probably add at the bottom, if you're interested to know more, or if you wanted to be a first customer of this product, sign up. Okay, so people who are truly interested would actually go ahead and sign up for those things, because this is a very successful idea that people have been doing. We have free money. We have so many neobanks trying it. We have so many other startups within Kerala actually pulling out this idea. So building your audience first would actually help you understand what kind of people are engaging with the product. Are actually people liking the product, or do they want a different set of features, or a different set of things that they hope to see on the app? So it gives an instant feedback. And best thing is that even if you don't have a product in hand, or if you don't have an app in hand, it's fine, because you haven't committed, okay, this date I'm going to release my product, or this is the day that you can and you can get the benefits of this product. So you haven't committed to a date or a time, so it gives you a lot of time to work around in the background. maybe change this idea, bring in a better functionality, try a different marketing campaign, get more data, see how people are engaging. And those things will actually help you gather more funds. So these are data, solid customer insights. So as I mentioned earlier, great businesses are built on customer insights. If you don't have customer insights, if you don't know what a customer wants, it would be very hard for your business to take up. So there's so many different ways to build your audience. So this is one such. So if it's a hardware product, you can still do the same. You can run ads, you can run campaigns, and you can say, okay, if you want to be the first user of this product, you can sign up, and then later on, once the product is up and ready for launching, you can get back this user. You have maybe, if 200 or 500 odd number of people have signed up for the product, you have customer ready, you have a customer base ready, and then all you need to do is go approach them.
Thank you for the explanation. That's all for the questions.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Veena. Thank you, IEEE Kerala Section, because it's been long since I actually had something like this to talk with a lot of people. And actually, I hope you guys could take something back home from what I could share.
Sure. Gaining knowledge is the first step to wisdom. Sharing it is the first step towards humanity. With this, we conclude today's session of Color Your Space. Thank you, Rohit, for an amazing talk on how to pick the right business idea. Hope this session was enlightening. I'd also like to extend my gratitude towards organizers as well as audience for being a part of this session. Until next time, good night.